This is Marcus Korb with Studio MMA and MMA Net, and we're here with one of the legends in the sport, Hall of Famer, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. How you feeling?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we're here at the LA Fit Expo in Los Angeles. You're obviously a legend. People are coming up to you wherever you're stepping in, your foot in here, and you're here with American Icon. What exactly is American Icon?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I know why I'm here, and I know who's there, but I think the American Icon is basically to do with pro wrestling, also MMA, and it follows guys that have, one, been in the business a long time and have made a name for themselves, like legends of the sports, of different sports.
And pro wrestling, mixed martial arts, you've done it all. You've fought all over the world. How's it being on the sidelines? What are you done with the fighting? Is it over for you?
Well, I'll tell you, man, first of all, it's exciting to see these young guys come up. Because I know when I was doing it, there was really no coaching strategies, there's no diet strategies, there's really no training strategies. You know, you had to develop all these things on your own.
Right.
And to see where it's at now, what you have, it's so technical now with cutting weight and with different training exercises, and it's so technical now, and it's really cool to see these guys get in there and do the sport that I actually started in, and see the level of the guys in there now. To me, I'm proud. You know, I'm proud.
Of course. So when you started back then, and Dan Severn is also at the booth that you're in, did you foresee this? Did you expect that it was going to be ever where it is today?
When you're competing, and I think most athletes will tell you this, when you're competing and you're thinking about only what you're doing. You're thinking about day in, day out of training, getting ready for your event. So you really don't think about anything else. So you don't really understand what you're getting into or what this thing may be in 20 years. When I started thinking about that is when I started slowing down a little bit, and I started looking back and seeing all the things that were going on and how the fighters were training and how technical it was getting. And that's when I really realized that, man, this thing has grown to be something special.
Absolutely, and we haven't seen the end of it yet. UFC just signed with Fox and a 7-year contract, and it's 3 shows into it. You know, we're in the end of January, and we had Brian Stan over there, Ronda Rousey, and all these fighters becoming mainstream household names and fans. So and you know, there's a long line to come and get your autographs. Your brother Frank's done a great job commentating in the sport. What does Cam do today?
Well, I travel around. Something I'd done during my fighting career was that I had always tried to give back a little bit. I always met fans. I went to boys and girls homes, to juvenile homes, troubled youth. And I've always been involved with that because from my background, where I came from, I grew up in a group home. I was in juvenile hall at 10. Wow. I spent my 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th birthday in juvenile hall. I was in placement from the time I was 10 until I was 17. So I had a troubled upbringing. I didn't really have anybody to raise me. So I understand the troubled youth and what they're going through. My father, who adopted me, owned the group home at the time, showed me a way to vent my frustration into something positive. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. So I had that same opportunity with what I've done over the years and built my reputation up to where people look at me like I'm a legend, and that's an honor. So now I got an opportunity to turn around and give back what somebody did for me tenfold. Nice. So I work with troubled youth, travel around meeting fans, and you know, I still fight a little bit here and there, but not at those top levels. I just do it for fun. I enjoy it. So I'm still in it. I train my kids. I have 3 boys that are in it. I have 1 nephew and 1 son-in-law. So I have kind of my own fight team that I'm training right now. But I'm enjoying myself. I'll never be out of the sport. I'll be in somehow or another, I'll be involved in it. But my main focus right now basically is going out, meeting the fans that supported me so many years, and working with troubled youth.
And you mentioned earlier that the people that, when you started, your era, so to speak, when it came to nutrition, training, and all of that, didn't exist. If it's one thing you can tell the up-and-coming amateur fight, the people that want to get involved in the sport, what would that be?
Well, first thing I would say is make sure that the people around you, because I hear so many times in every sport, not just MMA, but in every sport, is that you have proper management.
Yeah.
Because when you get involved with contracts, you think you know what you're doing, even if it's a 1-page contract.
Right.
You think you know what you're doing, and it does look simple, but trust me on this, when it comes to the court of law, nothing's simple. Get a good management team together, make sure that your contracts are gone through by people that know what they're doing, so you don't get yourself put into a bad position and you got to dig yourself out of a hole right from the start.
Has that happened to you?
Absolutely. It happened to me 2 or 3 times. And I was pretty wise to stuff. I managed myself for a long time, and then it got to a point to where it was too big, and I had to bring in people. I was so busy doing what I was doing, and I had so many things going on that I really couldn't focus and pay attention to what was going on with my management. And I took a hit a lot of times, you know, and so that's why I say, first thing I would tell anybody coming up, man, management. Management's so important.
And we saw a documentary on ESPN a few weeks ago, and they're talking about it. It's 2 sides to the story. Obviously, what UFC have done for the sport, it's amazing the way they spread it. But then there's also some athletes that weren't happy with it. What's your take on it? I know you spoke a little bit about it.
Well, first of all, I have a website where I went into much detail.
Right.
I wrote a response.
What's the website?
Ken Shamrock.
Oh, Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, just KenShamrock.com. You can look it up on there. I got a couple paragraphs on the situation. But to me, it's like, whenever I'm asked something, ESPN did a special, and I basically spoke my mind on it. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't thrash anybody. I basically just spoke what I thought was happening. I got a response back was from, you know, some of the people involved in the UFC, F you, and, you know, you piece of trash, and it's like, what is that? I mean, you got a business that's growing and that is supposed to be top-notch, one of the top athletic businesses in the world, and you're acting like a teenager or a thug, and you're supposed to be a grown-up. To me, that didn't make any sense at all, but the fighters are the ones that are being hammered by this. You know, I just found out recently, and I don't know if it's true, but just from what I heard, that, you know, some of the guys there own 3 houses, got $1 million paintings, got 2 Ferraris, a couple cars, and the guys are fighting for $10,000 to show and $10,000 to win in a main event fight. There's something wrong with the slide of what's going on. The business is growing, but only select few are getting paid. If you're in a main event fight, whether the guy that you're fighting against is a superstar,
right.
If you're in a main event fight, it shouldn't be $500,000 to $20,000. That's a disgrace, it's an embarrassment, and it should be ashamed.
Have you spoken to them directly? Have you spoken to the UFC? Are things better now, or how does it work?
I'm not sure, because the only response I've ever gotten was kind of ones that were threatening. So, you know, it's hard to even try and approach somebody and try and have a conversation with them and let them know, listen, man, all I'm doing is speaking my mind. If it's not true, prove it.
And talking about, you know, beef with people and squash, you're an outspoken person. You definitely spoke your mind more than once. Tito Ortiz, Gracie, you know, you guys are legends. And have you seen the guys after your fighting career, and how's the relationship between you guys now?
You know, I'm one of those kind of guys that I'm pretty intense when I fight.
Right.
So it comes off like I want to kill my opponent. But that's just how I am. I'm very intense when I fight. But when it's done,
right.
I'm down to earth, man. It's over. It's time to move on, shake his hand, give him a hug, you know, hey, have a great life, and move on. But I think a lot of times, because the way I am and the intensity that I have prior to a fight, I think it's almost like they feel like they can't let it go after it's over.
Right.
But I'm one that does. I don't have any problem. I let things go. If I'm going to fight somebody, I will definitely get in their face. I will definitely make an issue of it. But when it's over, I'm done with it.
So have you seen Tito, for example, since your fighting days? Are you cool?
Yeah, I've seen him before, and I'm cool with him. I have no issues with him. I think that I'm not sure he believes that, but you know, first of all, he beat me. I didn't beat him, so he shouldn't have any issues at all.
Right. And what about Royce? Have you seen Royce since?
Yeah, and Royce is one of the ones that actually said F you along with Dana White. I was completely shocked about that, because the UFC really took a program or an organization in which his family really built and basically blocked him out. Really didn't give him any credit. I'm a little bit shocked on how he would stand behind or be involved when you've got guys like Hickson and them guys who haven't been respected. You know, that's family. And how do you back somebody that tells another guy to F off, and then you stand beside him and tell him to F off too? It's like, I thought he was a little more mature than that, you know? I mean, Dana White, that's Dana. He does that on the reality show. I always knew he had a mentality of a teenager, a thug. But Royce, I thought he was a little bit classier than that. So I was a little disappointed and shocked that he even came off like that.
And the rest of the family, Hanso Gracie, Rickson Gracie, do you see these guys? I remember, it was the whole Shamrock versus Gracie thing. How is that? Is it still something that's ongoing, or are you guys done?
No, I mean, like I said, I respect the Gracie family because without them, it wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the bottom line. It wouldn't be here because no one really realized what this was. So Rorion Gracie and Bob Meyerowitz, they were the guys that brought this in. And unfortunately for Hanso, not Hanso, but Rickson was the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
He never got the opportunity to shine on a big stage other than Japan.
Right.
I believe if he would have gotten that opportunity here in the United States, he would have been the guy, and he would have been very difficult to beat because he's a lot stronger than Royce, and I believe that he's definitely skill-wise much better than Royce. So it would have been very interesting to see him if he would have had that opportunity. It would have been impressive.
You heard it right from the man himself, Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer. Always a pleasure talking to you, Ken. Thank you very much.
Thank you.